Say what's cracking, YouTube. It's your boy 16 to life, and I'm back like I'm on a parole violation. Yard down! Now, for those of y'all that's new to my page, in 1994, I got arrested. I was eventually sentenced to 16 years plus life, and I served 24 years straight in the California prison system. During those times, I accumulated some good stories. I'm going to share one with y'all today. If you like the page, be sure to hit that like button, comment, subscribe. Most importantly, hit that notification bell. That way, anytime I drop a story, you will be notified ASAP Rocky, and you can hop on it whenever you're ready. Also, be sure to go to my YouTube playlist, and you'll find some of my stories there organized into categories, and I'm definitely sure you'll find something that you like. Now, let's hop right up into this story right here. So, people always ask me about some of the craziest things that I've seen in prison. Well, this definitely had to be one of them. So this takes place in a prison by the name of a prison by the name of Ironwood, which is located in a city called Blythe. Blythe is probably about maybe about an hour and 20-30 minutes, somewhere around there, away from Arizona. So in the summertime, it gets extremely hot in Blythe. I'm talking like maybe by when we get up and go to chow at 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning, sometimes it's already 100 degrees, Excuse me. It gets extremely hot down there. Also, Ironwood was built pretty much in the middle of a desert. So you're going to have a lot of, spiders, lizards, all types of reptiles, snakes, tarantulas, and sometimes you had dudes down there who would catch these reptiles and turn them into pets. They had a spider down there. It was called a vinegaroon, I believe. And the rumor was that if you got bit by this spider, you would be tasting vinegar for like the next few days or whatever. So they had a whole lot of stuff down there, like I said. Humongous giant scorpions down there. People would catch tarantulas. You would often see people walking around with big old giant tarantulas on their arm they had turned into pets. And of course, lizards. A lot of people love to catch lizards down there and turn them into pets. There was this dude by the name of Will. Will looked black, but he ran with the Asians. And for years, because I was down in Ironwood from 98 to 2004. And I would say probably about the whole time, pretty much, Will had these, I think, 3 big old giant lizards that he had caught him as babies. And he would have these lizards with him all the time. The guards, they wouldn't mess with him. The lizards would be on his arm. He'd come outside. He'd set the lizards on the ground. They'd run around, look for food and stuff. Then he'd come right back to him, run up his arm. Like I said, he'd had them for years and years and years. And a lot of dudes down there would do that. They would catch lizards when they was young, and they would, I guess, get comfortable with them and just stay around them. I remember this dude by the name of D-Dog. D-Dog was from Athens Park, and he was in the cell with a dude by the name of Snuff. Snuff was from 2Ps, and they was about 4 or 5 cells away from me. Now, you have some dudes who can tell you, hey, man, I remember I was in cell 130, such and such was in cell 122, dude was in one cell like 115. I can't remember exactly like that, but I know if you ever been locked up, when you come in, and the cells start from 0 or 1 to whatever, that first row, then that next row that was facing the tower, I was in that like the 3rd or 4th cell on that side in the 270 design at Ironwood, and D-Dog was damn near in the corner. So anyway, one day at count time, at the 4 o'clock count, he come to the window and said, "Hey man, have anybody seen Sheila? Sheila done got away." So Sheila was his pet lizard. And so what he had did is he had cordoned off his desk in his cell with cardboard. So he had put up 1, 2, 3 pieces of cardboard on his desk and dumped a whole bunch of sand in there. And that was a place for the lizard. You know what I'm saying? So I went over there one day and I seen that. I'm like, damn, dude can't even write a letter up in here. You know what I'm saying? Sheila done got the whole desk, so he was, making an announcement, I guess, some type of way. Sheila had escaped from that little, place that he had her kept or whatever. So maybe about 15, 20 minutes later, I get up, I go to use the bathroom. I'm using the bathroom. All of a sudden, something run across my foot, scared the hell up out of me. I'm jumping, pee everywhere and stuff. I'm like, what the hell was that? I'm looking down, man. It was his damn lizard that ran in the cell. So I said, hey, D-Dog, hey man, Sheila over here, come get this thing. You know what I'm saying? Because I wouldn't just to touch him. So when he ran up under the bed, and so when they released for child, he came over there and he got the lizard. So a lot of people had, pets and stuff like that. Also, there was an area they had called Work Exchange, and you would go behind Work Exchange to go to work. You had to go through there. They had a metal detector and all that stuff. And back there, they had a lot of trades, all types of stuff, carpentry. I was back there in computer design and stuff like that, computer graphics. And so anyway, they had dudes with, they have buckets and stuff, and they would catch tarantulas and scorpions and put them in the bucket and have them fight. And they also had a lot of like prairie dog looking things back there, and some people would catch them and turn them into pets and stuff. So you definitely also had to be careful, especially in the summertime, about when you got up in the morning and check the floor and check your boots and your tennis shoes for scorpions and stuff. There had been a time or two where people would go to put their shoes on and there would be a scorpion or something up in there. But what we would do is we would get old newspaper or whatever, roll up the newspaper real tight, put a rubber band and a sock on it or something like that, and basically make it as a doorstop. So put it in front of your door to try to prevent, snakes and stuff from coming up in there. But from time to time, stuff like that would happen, Back to the Asian dude, I forgot to tell y'all, Will, who had the who kept all the lizards and stuff, all the time. Right before I left, I don't know what happened, but the guards had went in his cell and took his lizards. And like I said, up to that point, he had the lizards probably 6 or 7 years. So he was walking around the yard real mad, trying to go talk to the guards and get his lizards back. I don't know if he ever got them back, because right around that time I was getting ready to transfer. But he was extremely upset about that. I was on, now all this stuff was taking place on A yard. I was on B yard too. And one day we out on the yard, and there's like a baby rattlesnake, so dudes just standing around it, they messing with it. One dude had his headphones, the wire on it, he's like trying to string it along. You had this black sergeant, I can't remember his name, man. The dude probably was about 45 years old, so he come over there. He like, oh man, y'all scared of this thing? Get on out the way. So he reached down and tried to grab the snake. At some point, the snake ended up biting him. So now you got people like looking around, they laughed. He started walking towards the sergeant's office, and he got up in the sergeant's office. Then later on, the ambulance came and hit the yard, and they said he damn near passed away. So he was gone for about, excuse me, he was gone for about 3 or 4 weeks until he finally returned and came back. And of course, when he came back, you had brothers over there clowning him, calling him Crocodile Dundee and all that stuff. Well, they was on him for about 2 or 3 weeks. Every time they see him, hey, Crocodile Dundee, we got another snake over here. We got another snake over here. So, it was all types of, reptiles and stuff in Ironwood. And, I never did mess with the bugs, man, or that wasn't my type of thing, messing with them reptiles and them snakes and stuff like that, From time to time, too, I think people would have gophers, and it's a trip that when you in prison, some of these things will give people comfort, Like I said, I never got into holding these things or turning these things into pets, but I do remember, I believe I was at CMC East, and they had brought dogs on the yard. They had brought dogs on the yard. They was getting ready to search, and had these drug dogs. But I hadn't even seen a dog, maybe in about, I don't know how long at that point it was, maybe 10, 15 years. But it's crazy just how, just seeing that dog had me just like, I guess kind of just like thinking about the streets and stuff like that. Just the small things, I guess we don't realize or take for granted sometimes, mean a lot to us, or can just have us in a moment of thinking, because like I said, I'm an animal lover, and I hadn't seen a dog in I couldn't tell how long. And so just realizing like, damn, man, I ain't even seen a dog in so long. So, small stuff like that sometimes, is a trip. I remember one time too, I went into the law library, talking to the dude who, worked behind where they check the books out at and all that stuff, this Hispanic dude. And he asked me, hey man, you want to see Mr. Mouse? And I'm like, what the hell is you talking about? He opened up his shirt. He had this kangaroo mouse, this real small kangaroo mouse with big old giant black eyes and a super long, super long tail, So he let the mouse run out of his sleeve and set the mouse down on the counter, and he had some apples. He was feeding the mouse, little pieces of apples and stuff. So I'm watching the mouse run around, and all of a sudden, the damn mouse started pooping all over the place and stuff. So he grabbed him, got the doo-doo up, and I got away from him at that point, because now I'm thinking that these things might be carrying diseases and stuff like that. But like I said, sometimes when you're incarcerated, it's these small little things that, make a big difference to some people. So now on to the title, right? One of the dumbest things that ever, I didn't actually witness it, right? But one of the dumbest things that I ever heard of happening in prison, man. So a dude from Rolling 60's, I don't remember his name. He was a younger dude, probably wasn't even 20 years old. I guess at some point in time, he caught a snake. I don't know exactly what type of snake it was, but you had a female officer coming out the building, and he was, asked her if she wanted to see the snake or whatever, and he was showing her the snake. Then all of a sudden, he just threw the snake on her and stuff. And so actually, later on, maybe about 15, 20 minutes later, I'm in the building actually. Me and Big U, we was in there playing Monopoly, and somebody came over there and told him, "Hey man, one of your homies just threw a snake on the guard." He said, "Is that right?" He was like, "Is he still here?" And the dude was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, but they coming to get him. That's an assault on staff, And that was around the time when they really had started pushing for people going to the hole for threatening staff, assault on staff, or at least down there in Ironwood, the workers union or whatever had started pushing that. And sure enough, man, in about about 20 minutes later, if not that long, they had came, handcuffed the dude, escorted him across the yard, took him to the hole, gave him an assault, and I never seen him again. But Ironwood was a real cold place, when it came to these desert reptiles and stuff. I remember another time it was a dude by the name of J-Dog, and J-Dog was from Long Beach. I can't remember if he was from Insane or he was from 20's. But like I said, Ironwood gets extremely hot. In the daytime, sometimes it might jump up to 120 degrees. And so we happen to be out there on the workout pile. Now, the workout pile, when I came to prison, they no longer had weights. So you just had pull-up bars, dip bars, push-up bars and stuff like that. And so the sand would get extremely hot. So people would bring out blankets, from their cell. You always go get another blanket, these thick wool blankets, and lay them on the sand. So when you go down and do push-ups or whatever, it's not so hot. And so I remember J-Dog was getting ready to go down and do some push-ups. And he said, "You know what, man, let me check this damn blanket." And so he pulled the blanket back, man. And it was the biggest scorpion that I ever seen under that blanket, trying to, I guess, hide from the sun. This scorpion at least had to be about 6 inches long. It had a real long, and the scorpion was black, had a real long black tail that was curled up. So he took off his headphones and he had the wire. He was messing with the scorpion. Every time he dropped the wire on the scorpion, he trying to hit and sting them damn headphones. And so that probably happened. I probably hadn't been down there a year or two when that happened. From that point forward, every single time I would go down to do push-ups on the blanket, the thought of seeing that big old giant scorpion would make me check that blanket first. That's something that's never left my head. That scorpion was humongous. But anyway, yeah, that was a story about just one of the dumbest things ever that I heard, about happening in prison. I don't know what was going through dude's mind when he threw the snake on that guard. And I don't know what he thought was going to happen or come from that, But anyway, you already know what it is. It's your boy 16 to life. Resume normal program.